Your brain is basically a bad roommate. You know the type. Swears they'll do the dishes in 5 minutes, then suddenly it's midnight and they're reorganizing the spice rack alphabetically while you're stuck with a sink full of crusty plates. Your brain does the same thing. It says, we'll start that project at 2. And boom, you've just watched 47 minutes of videos about why pigeons bob their heads when they walk. Here's the thing though, your brain isn't lazy, it's just really good at negotiating against discomfort. Every time you face something hard, your brain throws out excuses like a lawyer trying to get out of jury duty. But I found a way to stop the negotiation entirely. It's called the roommate agreement. 5 simple clauses that remove your brain's vote and get you started fast. No willpower required, no motivation speeches, just rules your brain can't wiggle out of. And here's the wild part. There's one counterintuitive clause most people skip that actually makes everything easier. Stick around, and I'll show you exactly how to use it. First, you need to recognize when your roommate is lying to you. Classic lines include, I'll start at 2. I need to feel ready first. Just one quick check. And my personal favorite, I work better under pressure. Spoiler alert, you don't. You work in a panic, which feels productive, but mostly just spikes your cortisol and makes you eat chips at 3 a.m. These lies follow a pattern. I call it DBD. Delay, bargain, distract. Your brain delays the start time, bargains for easier conditions, then distracts you with literally anything else. Naming this pattern out loud activates your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, and takes power away from the emotional part that just wants to scroll. So I started catching myself mid-lie. I'd be reaching for my phone to check something totally urgent, and I'd pause and say out loud, "Nice try, roommate." Then I'd redirect. It sounds ridiculous, but calling it out breaks the autopilot. You're no longer a passive victim of your own brain. You're the landlord enforcing the lease. Here's the rule I set. No negotiating with time. Start time is a fact, not a feeling. If the calendar says 2, you start at 2. Your brain doesn't get to vote on whether it feels like it. Would you let your actual roommate skip rent because they didn't feel like paying? No, same deal here. I also created what I call a lie ledger. I tracked the top 3 lies my brain told me most often. For me, it was, I'll do it after I check my messages. I need coffee first. And I should plan this out more before I start. Then I wrote a canned counter for each one. Messages. They'll be there in 25 minutes. Coffee? Already made, sitting right here. More planning? That's just delay in a fancy hat. Catching the lie is step 1. But calling out your roommate's excuses only works if you've got rules they can't wiggle out of. That's where the agreement comes in. Like any legal document, it's got a few important clauses. Clause 1 is the 2-minute move. The goal here isn't progress, it's ignition. You start with an action so small it's almost embarrassing. Open the document, type the title, put your shoes on, start the timer, that's it. Why does this work? Because your brain's amygdala treats big tasks like threats. It sees write the essay and thinks danger, avoid. But it sees open Google Docs and thinks fine, whatever. Once you start, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine for making progress, and that builds momentum. Gateway tasks are basically cheat codes. You're not trying to finish. You're just trying to trick your brain into starting. Clause 2. No choice, start time. Your calendar is the landlord. When it says start, you start. No debate, no negotiation, no just 5 more minutes. I use a standing ritual to make this automatic. Drink water, take 3 deep breaths, start the timer, go. No thought required. I don't have to like it, I just have to start it. Clause 3 is the single chore rule. Only one task gets to be visible at a time. Everything else gets hidden. No tab roulette, no context switching, no, I'll just quickly check this other thing. You choose the one brick you're going to lay and you define what done looks like before you start. For me, that's usually 25 to 50 minutes or a specific slice of the project, like outline section 2 or edit the first 3 paragraphs. Clause 4. Bribes and boundaries. Rewards come after the work, not before. No pre-rewards. You don't get the treat until you finish the block. But you can use temptation bundling during the work. Pair the hard thing with a neutral pleasure like a specific playlist or a cup of tea. The key word is neutral. If it's too interesting, it becomes a distraction. Boundaries are non-negotiable. Phone goes in another room. The roommate loses the remote. You can't cheat if the temptation isn't within arm's reach. Clause 5 is the grace clause, and this is the one most people skip. If you break a rule, you re-enter within 60 seconds. No shame spiral, no, well, the day is ruined. You just reset and start again. Progress beats purity every single time. 3 imperfect blocks of work beat 1 perfect day that never happens. At the end of every week, I do a quick review. What tripped me up? What worked? Then I tweak 1 friction point. Maybe I need to log out of something, or stage my workspace differently, or move my start time earlier. Small fixes compound fast. Okay, so now you've got the rules. Now make the environment enforce them so your roommate's excuses don't matter. I call these friction walls. They're barriers that make the wrong choice harder and the right choice automatic. Start by removing easy exits. Log out of distracting sites. Turn your phone to grayscale. Install block lists if you need to. The goal is to make cheating require effort. If scrolling takes 3 steps instead of 1 tap, your brain will often just give up and do the work instead. Next, make starting stupid easy. Stage your workstation the night before. Pin the document you need. Put your gym bag by the door. Pour water into your work mug. Preload the timer on your phone. When everything is ready to go, you remove the micro decisions that give your brain an opening to negotiate. I also use pre-commit cues, a sticky note with the first sentence I'll write, a timer already set to 25 minutes. My headphones plugged in with the playlist queued. These tiny signals tell my brain, we're doing this now before it has a chance to argue. Here's a weird one that works. The door frame rule. When I pass the threshold into my workspace, I start the timer. No sitting down to check things first, no easing in. Cross the line, hit start. It turns a physical location into a commitment device. Energy timing matters too. Do the hardest brick when your energy naturally spikes. For most people, that's within 2 hours of waking up. Your brain has the most willpower and the least decision fatigue early. Use that window for the thing you're most likely to avoid. I started staging everything the night before, and it led to auto-start mornings. I'd walk into my workspace, see the setup, and my brain would just go, oh, I guess we're working now. No negotiation required. The environment made the decision for me. Systems like this reduce negotiation, but you still need a rhythm to sustain it. That's where momentum maintenance comes in. Use a steady cadence. I do 25 to 50-minute blocks with short tech-free breaks. No checking messages during the break. Just stand up, stretch, look out a window. Let your brain actually rest. End every session on a breadcrumb. Stop mid-sentence or mid-task so tomorrow's start is obvious. Your brain hates unfinished business, so it'll be easier to jump back in. Once a week, I do rent day. I pick 1 friction point to fix and 1 win to repeat. Maybe I need to block a new site, or maybe my start ritual is finally automatic and I can tweak something else. Don't skip the recovery tax. Sleep, sunlight, and movement keep your brain from burning out and bargaining for escape. A tired brain is a negotiating brain. If you get stuck mid-block, drop to the 2-minute move immediately. Open a new doc, write 1 sentence, do 10 push-ups. Momentum beats perfection. Stop negotiating with your bad roommate. Follow the agreement. Start small, start fast, and stay consistent. And for more great productivity tips that you can actually use, check out my other vids.